All right, we should be live.
All
Let's go.
right.
Let's see who joins in. For those that do watch this afterwards, we will be talking about grading, as you will see in the title, the thumbnail. It's going to be with my friend here, Reverend Rips, and we're going to be talking about grading today. We're going to be talking about a few different things. Maybe I have a grading tool to show you guys at the end, but we're more going to focus on just the discussions all around grading. So we'll see. What
So
comes
Jay,
up.
how often do you, how much grading do you actually do or have done in the past?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Absolutely none. I
Okay.
have been you know what it is? I have been part of that crowd that has been like second guessing grading because first off, GameStop supposedly loses your cards. Um and just all that, like damaging cards and all these things with PSA. Every time that I've been like this close, like, bro, one of the things that I'm gonna show here is cards that I have like ready to grade. Like
Okay.
I have them set aside that I feel like could be tens or are tens, right? And
Kind of like these two boxes I have.
no, bro, like all this,
Okay. Okay.
like I have a bunch of cards that I would love to grade, but I'm concerned that something's gonna happen. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, which kind of sucks when you don't know exactly what's gonna happen. Like I said, it's probably one of the worst parts. I just realized that I didn't make the stream. I guess people who come in later on will see it. I just realized I didn't make the stream public, so people weren't able to join or see the stream pop up or anything.
Okay.
I'm so like backwards right now. The things that I had set up or that I thought would be like easy to set up, like everything has been going like haywire. Like nothing has been working, and now starting this up, like I'm usually like well organized. I gave myself like ample amount of time, and this thing did not work with me whatsoever, man. Like at all.
Right now, I'm
But
looking
we're
at
here. We're
you're
here.
just frozen in place.
What just froze?
Your face, you're just there in a froze position. There you
Really?
go. You came live again. You came
Okay,
at.
okay, okay. I swapped off for a second. I was just going because I like removed Discord, and
Okay.
it is what it is. I'll leave it like that for now. I was gonna send the link to Discord and all that, but
Hey, do whatever you have to do. You have me for a couple of hours. Whatever you need to do. If you want to send it through Discord, whatever. If you need to freeze it up to do that, that's cool.
no, it froze up on its own for some reason. I didn't know that it would do that. So it is what it is. But that's all. We're cool. We could keep on
Okay.
regardless. What we're doing.
Yeah, because right now you're just in a froze position, but that's cool.
But
Yeah,
now
you're
I'm
back.
good.
You're back.
Yeah, yeah. That was that. That was that. It's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
but I think that was my hesitancy when I first started grading. Um, whether or not the cards would be swapped out, whether or not they would damage my cards, whether I'd even get them back. But over time, I kind of got comfortable with it, and it's been a great experience. I can't say that I've always had good experiences with the different grading companies. Like we've talked about it. I've used CGC. I've used um, Beckett. I've used PSA, and of course, I use CGC. I don't use Tag, and I have my reasons. I don't knock people who want to use it, but there's some things that really concerns me as it relates to that company. A lot of people seem to think it's taken over, but we'll just start the conversation there. When you have when you have a
I know
company,
you're ready for that conversation for
yeah, I
sure.
think I think the challenge is with that company is um, when I personally believe they have an army of bots that whenever somebody talks about grading, I'm more than sure in this stream you're going to have bots come in and say tag is on fire, tag is the way to go. It doesn't matter what conversation you're having, if it's on Reddit, if it's on IG, if it's on YouTube, it seems as though they always come in talking about taking over. And I don't like disingenuous companies or people who promote a company. Like I was watching, and I think I sent you that they showed that they had a 245% increase in their numbers of slabs graded. I'm thinking, but the day before that, they only graded about 300 slabs. I mean, if you go from 300 to 1.5K, it's going to look like you're tearing it up. But I
Right.
think I rub some people the wrong way because I keep numbers. I am a numbers person. My background, I have an economics degree. I've been informed. I was in pharmaceutical sales. So numbers have always been something that I have made certain to do. And if you go back and look at the tag numbers, in November of 2025, that month, they actually graded, at least the gym rate report said they had 51,000 slabs graded. Great number. I mean, no doubt about it for a startup. But then the next 3 months, December, January, and February. In February, they got to 44,000. They went down to 40. They went up to 42. And last month, they were at 44. So you haven't even reached your 51,000 number yet. And you're
Right.
saying that you're blowing up, you're going to compete. Nobody's going to compete with PSA. Let's get that out of, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
PSA just is a monster right now, but I see some cracks in their armor. But when it comes down to tag, I think they could stay around, but I don't take their prices serious. And there's a specific reason. If you have a card, there are people who love tag. Let me just say that first of all. They have people who love tag. And so when tag slabs come available, they are so few and far between. Like you may have a pop of 1,000 with PSA, and you may have a pop of 100, if that, with tag. Well, those people who like tag are going to aggressively bid on those, or people who are invested in tag are going to aggressively bid. And I just believe when you have lower number, you can really manipulate it and make people think that tag is equal to PSA in price. And more times than not, that's not the case.
Right. Yeah. I've noticed the tag army. I don't know what it is. Look, like I could genuinely say that the tags look nice because it looks like a piece of glass almost.
Mhm.
I don't like how brittle they are. That's for sure. But I have noticed that they do reach out to a lot of content creators. They make sure that they have people backing them in that kind of way. You see them everywhere, and it's insane. Like it's like almost like scripted videos, whether it be a YouTube video, whether it be like like at a vending event. Like I don't where does that take place where for some reason there is like this recording where somebody's talking about, yeah, tag's the way to go. It's clearly scripted. No one's having this discussion with you at this very moment, like as a vendor with no one at your table,
Right,
and
right,
they're recording this like skit, right?
right,
I mean, in a sense, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for them trying to push out their product, right? But it is still not what people think it is. Like like in those same videos, you hear people saying tag is the future, or in the comments that happens a lot. Tag is the future because I think that's like part of their bots. They know that it's not them. Like we know that it's not the regular people. It's them coming in with whether it's bots or just their friends saying tag is the future. Clearly, they're gonna say that because they have no way to catch up right now, but they're hoping long term, maybe in a few years that they can make some kind of a difference, but, clearly that's not the case.
Well, I think
Um
the thing is that I want them to be successful from the perspective of giving alternatives to PSA. I really do. I want them to be successful, but be successful in an honest way. I actually, in my algorithm, came across two guys that were new tag promoters, and you could tell that they were reading from a script as they were talking. You could tell it. You could actually, there was nothing genuine about it. But they reach out to content creators and they give them discounts and whatever. That's fine. Everyone does grading differently. So I have a friend who uses Tag, and he gets them. He gets them to Tag. He sells them real quick. He says it's just an easy flip. It's not one of those situations that you're going to hold a card for an extended period of time, because there's some uneasiness I have when a company is always self-promoting. When you're new, you have to do that, but the best way to do that is to make sure the general public knows about your company. Tag, if you and I heard either you say this or I heard Alex say this. When we're in this hobby circle that we're in right now, this is the echo chamber. We're connected. I mean, we are very connected to the hobby, whether it's Tag, whether it's BGS, whether it's SGC, PSA, CGC, even Arena or Ace. We're connected. But the general public, if you go to the general public, they will know PSA. That's what they will know. And any other company is going to have to really step up and get some traction. And I'm seeing that with CGC. Of course, you know how I feel about that. But I'm not just a CGC grader. I know, I think this is the part that differentiates me from the standpoint of other people who grade. I actually know how to use every company, with the except I don't use CGC anymore, and I don't use Tag. I just don't. But I know how to use BGS. I know how to use PSA, and I know how to use CGC to get the most bang for the bucks that I am using for grading. And I have a system. I have a system that has not failed me. I have been able to build up a very strong grading binders. This binder is all slabs for CGC, and then this one is all slabs for PSA. Every one of these is a PSA 10, and my system. I use grade to consignment, and so I have no money because I actually have the cards, but my grade to consignment, I just got 9 cards back from PSA 10s. One of them was the mouse hole. That's a $500 card in a PSA 10. Has
From
a
How They
gem.
Evolved, correct?
Huh?
The one from How They Evolved?
Yeah, it has
I
a
can't
generator.
believe that card is doing that, man. I can't. It's not even a popular Pokemon, bro. Like I don't get it. Real quick, somebody said snack bread. Guy, real quick, whoever's watching, I messed up. I've messed up so much today. It's not letting me show your comments on the screen because it says that the stream is private because I started it without first making it public. It's like so weird the way this stuff works. So StreamYard isn't letting me click on or highlight your comments basically. But basically, Snackbread said, who is the Reverend? The Reverend is somebody I met in the hobby. I forgot if I met him on Instagram or we spoke on Instagram. I think he might have came on my channel and
Yes.
commented.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something like that. It was something that we met on YouTube, and we've been talking for some time now on Instagram back and forth with different things in the hobby, whether it's just investing or for the most part, it's really been grading as of late, especially because Reverend definitely does a lot of grading. He's into it a lot. He's profited a lot as well. He's done pretty well with it. And that's one of the main reasons why I always take it as his advice or ask him questions, or he just brings information my way. And I always appreciate it. And so knowing that he has all this insight and all this experience in grading, I thought it would be great to have you guys hear his point of view with things on various things, whether it's how to grade, what company to grade with. I think these are all things that most people have questions about. A lot of the time, like I've made a video before about grading, all right? Like who do you grade with? Because PSA is like finding ways to like lose customers. And this has been happening for some time now. And for that reason, I had a video already in the past. And there's always somebody in the comments saying, who should I grade with? Who are you grading with? Who is better to grade with and why? So for that reason, having somebody like Reverend here who's graded with several companies uh, is worth having, so that you guys can have some kind of information at least to go forward with. If you don't want to grade, that's fine. If you do want to grade, this is great for you as well. But I think this is a great way. Remember, I said it before, to fund your hobby. If you are somebody who feels like you can't afford buying booster boxes, you can't afford buying all these Pokemon Center ATVs, and I tell you guys all the time, I'm not rich. I buy what I can when I can at all times. I am a regular blue collar worker. I'm a plumber. I'm not wealthy by any means. So I just, like I said, I do what I can when I can. And for that reason, I want to also go into the grading part of the hobby and do the same thing that Reverend is doing. Like, he has a grading to consignment service where he grades and it gets sent directly to his consignment service and they just sell it off for him. So he doesn't have to deal with that process. All he does is grade, and it's like a revolving door. It just keeps going in and out. So he keeps funneling cards out, whether they're PSA 10s or 9s, and they keep getting sold by the consignment service, and then cash comes in. And it's just a revolving door over and over and over. And I think it's a great way to fund your hobby. Often, more often than not, I'm telling you guys, about investing plays or what's going on in the hobby. But I also tell you guys the honest truth. Yes, this is expensive. There are people out there that'll say, yo, go buy an Evolving Skies booster box. It is the best thing you're ever going to buy, right? It's only $2,500. In
Yeah.
2 years, it's going to be $5,000. Come on. That's a lot of money to dish out.
Right. And
It's a
let me
lot.
give a background. So I've been in the hobby. My son and we started ripping in 99. Basically, our first experience with Pokemon was actually first edition Team Rocket. And then we went away. And then once I got closer to retirement, I just kind of got back in the celebration and Evolving Skies, a lot of that. As a traveling salesman, I was able to go around and he would tell me, hey, Dad, look for this, Dad, look for this. And, I had the ability to do what he can't do as a person who works. I was able to find these different things. Of course, this was pre-COVID. And so
Right.
I have really utilized the hobby more so as people say a side hustle, but it's becoming more of a very thought out business model for me. I have cards that I actually grade, and I grade with the intention of keeping them for future. So like Jay just said, grade to consignment. And let me just say this, there are a lot of consignment companies, a lot of them out there. But I use PC Sports Cards as my grade to consignment because I have $0 out of pocket. What I mean by that is that, yes, I have the cards, I have to purchase the cards, I have to mail the cards, but once I send them to them, they send them to PSA, they grade them. When they come back, they actually tell me how much I owe, and then I click a button to tell them which cards to sell. And I always sell enough to pay for the consignment for the submission. And then those other cards, I have them sent back to me. So my submission is paid for, and I just got 9 back that when I sell those, that's another 2K. So my submission is paid for. The cards are just basically my profits that I have. And it's been very effective for me. And, I've had a couple of people use it and they have found it to be very successful as well. Like I said, there are a lot of good consignment companies out there. I just like the fact that I don't have to go into my pocket to pay for my submissions. I can actually pay for my submissions, pay for the cards that I want in my collection with cards. And that's the ultimate goal of this hobby, is to let your hobby pay for your hobby.
Yeah, that's like, that doesn't get said enough, to be honest, because like I said before, it's expensive, man. Like, anybody that acts like it isn't expensive or doesn't think that it's expensive, that's just outrageous. Um,
Jay, I sent you a screenshot of my Shiny app numbers. If you want to show that, I don't have a problem with you showing it to give people a sense of what grade to consignment has done for me.
Gotcha. So this is his shiny app right here. $131,813. We have several questions for you, by the way.
Okay.
As after we just go through this. So you look at this here, it said it's 131 graded. Is that your how many cards you have graded?
Yeah, that's my number of
And then
actual graded
the
card
amount
that
of
I
money
have
that
in.
he's paid. So this is you have everything here. You're sealed, you're graded, you're ungraded.
Correct. Correct.
Right. And he's obviously invested $27,000, which most people don't talk about how much they've spent. And at the moment, the collection is worth 131,000, which is insane. It's where everybody wants to reach. Everybody wants to reach six digits, and eventually, if you can, seven. Right. But it just doesn't get talked about enough how valuable information like this can be. People don't realize how big the grading scene is, especially right now with how liquid the market is, with all these uh like Galaxy Grails, Card IO, or GameStop buying everything out, or PSA buying it all out so they can sell it on their eBay. Everything is getting sold so easily now. It's such a liquid market right now. Everything is it's just a seller's market. I've said it so many times. People are buying at all-time highs. They're buying outrageous prices. Yesterday's video, I showed how the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies um, sold for $33,000.
Jay, did
The
you
Umbre
tell them
the BGS
my son
10
owns one of
sold for
those?
33,000, and the recent high before that one was 23,000. That is a 50% increase, just about. Then the Latios had recently sold for 100,000. I don't even know what the recent all-time high for that was for the BGS 10. But then we also had the Mega Charizard EX from Phantasmal Flames at a BGS 10, sold for $54,000.
Let me put that black label in perspective. Jay knows that my son actually owns a black label that he pulled on his birthday. We sent it to Beckett. It got a black label, and at the time he pulled this, like this is a short time frame. This is 3 years ago he did this. The card was worth $9,000. 3 years ago, it was worth $9,000, and now it just sold for 33K. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So he still owns this card.
Yeah, we have it in the safe deposit box. I told him, and there's a great story behind it, because most people would say, well, I'd sell it. Well, I gave him an Evolving Skies ETB for his birthday.
Okay.
And he pulled the Moonbreon on his birthday from that ETB. A month later, we went over to Dallas, had it graded, cost $150 to grade. It came back to black label. So he actually has $200 in this particular card, birthday gift. And there's a lot of memories that he has, but I told him, people say you should sell it. I say, look at it this way. I don't believe that's a card you want to sell. Somewhere down the line, he's 32. And so somewhere down the line, he's going to want to buy a new house. It's amazing that he could have one card that could be a major down payment for his home.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's only 3 years younger than I am. But let me just get to these guys talking in the comments. Hamber says, I hate grading, but I can't change it. So I just pick and choose how I interact with it to try and benefit myself monetarily. All my true collection is raw or sealed. Great conversation so far, fellas. Thank you. I appreciate it. Snack Bread says, I have a question for him. That's for you. Is he someone that just sends a lot of pretty good looking cards and hopes for the best?
No,
Which I think is a great question.
I actually do a lot of pre-grading myself. I had to learn the art of doing it. And the difference is, when I was learning doing it, grading was like $10 a card. So I've made a lot of bad choices. One of the things that I have learned about grading, I think this is probably good for everybody who may be tuning in here. When you are grading, you cannot think like a collector. You have to think like a investor, or you have to think like somebody else. For instance, there are cards that I think I would never grade. Like we were just talking about the mouse hole. why am I grading that card? I don't even know the character. But that card I pulled out of a pack. It cost me $17 to grade. So that's $22. That card sells for $500. So I will be moving that card because I don't have any connection to it because of that particular point. I I rip a lot. Let me just say that I rip a lot of stuff, but I'm learning how to grade. You have to be mindful that if you think it's a 10, if you think they're gonna miss something, don't send a card. It's too costly to make mistakes now. It's very costly to make mistakes, especially if you're thinking about bulk. Um, I don't just haphazardly send cards. I do use pop count very strongly. I go in and see low pop cards on popular Pokemon. Right now, I think it's there's a Gengar, I think, that's from 151 that has a gem rate of 10%.
I think that's the reverse, right?
Yeah, the reverse. That's the one. If you can get a 10, it's a $1,300 card. I mean, you you know, you can send many of those cards, but you have to, of course, source them. Everybody knows about that.
Yeah,
So
now it's
everybody's
getting,
looking
especially
for
with
it
social
now.
media, everything is just blowing up all the time. Whenever there's just one card that's like doing well, it's like it blows up right away. You have to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, Hunter. Hunter is a prime example. The Hunter illustration rare
The
that came in the
promo, and
battle.
I spoke about that card so much about how that IR, that illustration rare, was going to be such a big deal. I don't know if people made plays. Like I said, I have a smaller channel. I don't know how people interact with my channel. Do they actually listen? I don't know, but
I have a
I
lot of
knew that card was gonna be a big deal because we don't get Haunter illustration rares, we don't, and it's
first one.
part of the Gengar lineup. Like, everybody loves Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. It's not just Gengar. I mean, Gengar's clearly the most popular, but people love all 3, and we never get. When was the last time? I don't know.
I'm
When was the last
matching
time
you.
we got right, when was the last time we got an illustration rare for a Haunter, and of any kind?
Right. That's the first one. It is actually the first Hunter illustration rare.
This was my point. We had the half arts though from the
Correct.
earlier eras, right? That were, I guess, some hollows. But my point is that even with the hollows, the last time we got, like, what was the last time? So just to consider that, like, those are the kind of things that people should be thinking about to be ahead of the curve. And
But go ahead and talk. I'm gonna pull out something. So I have a box of cards. What you see here are cards that are ready to grade. This is about 200 cards that are ready to grade. And the thing is that there are some of these cards that, like, I have a stack of the hollows of Gengar from 151. And most people would say, oh, that's not a great card because it's just a hollow. But
right,
in a PSA 10, it could sell for $150. So if I'm grading a card and it's costing me $30 and I can get one PSA 10 out of 10 cards, I've already paid for the sub. That's the type of thing you have to think of. I'm very strategic, and I may not have the ones that I have put aside. I think they're already in my box to be shipped off. Okay, here they go. So I have all of these already sourced, 2, 4, 6, 7. All it takes is one of these 7 to get a 10, and I pay for the submission. Any other 10s are pure profit. People don't think like that. They say, oh, you're grading those cheap cards. Grade popular characters and you'll always be ahead.
right. That's sick. Let's see what else. Oh, well, you already answered this guy. He asked twice. Roxy, what's going on, bro? Welcome. Pokepinner, what's up? He says, what's up, Jay and Rev? What's going on?
What's up, player?
Snackbird says, damn, that's a great point. I have an issue with letting cards go. I need to grade the cards. I don't care about all that much so that I'm okay with trading or selling it away. Thank you. Yeah, that's a big I mean, listen, I have everyone's gonna have their personal collection. I mean, Rev is telling us about like how profitable he's been, but he has his personal collection of cards that he doesn't want to let go. You know, so that's something to keep in mind. If there's a card that you absolutely want to keep, no one's saying get rid of that card or those cards. They're going to be a set of cards, but there are other cards like the promos, like the Eevee promo he showed the last time with the butt Eevee, whatever you call it. That's like a $5 card. You can continuously keep grading that and sending that off and getting it sold for you with consignment, unless you want to do it yourself. But
Let,
that
let
those are
me,
these are
show
the kind of
a
things you want to do.
play that I made that most people overlook. So I'm gonna take it out right now because it's in my little binder that I have. So, how many of you know anything about these cards? Cheap poster
Oh, those are the
collection
151 collection ones, right?
Yeah, dollar cards. They sell for about $100 a piece.
The poster collection, yeah.
Poster collection, but this is a sequentially
Sequential,
numbered.
yeah, right.
So this will probably sell for 400 as a set. This is how sometimes you have to think when you're trying to make money, but also build your collection. You have to go where others haven't figured it out yet. Because if you have the PSA 10s, for instance, the Hunter, for instance, I couldn't get my Hunters back fast enough. So let's say Hunter blows up and I already have the cards in hand. I'm going to make a lot more money than the person who has to send it off, wait for it to come back. The likelihood is the market's going to change and you're not going to make it as much money. I have a saying, I'd rather be the bank than the buyer. And so if I'm the bank, you got to come to me to get what you want. So I invest money, I put money into this hobby way before. That's where grade to consignment comes into play because I'm not paying anything out of pocket. And that's why I do not use GameStop, because GameStop makes you pay money up front versus what I do. I don't have to pay until the back end.
They make you pay up front. Well, I don't know. GameStop has been having weird things going on. Pokepanda says, "Is that the Gengar from the set or the promo of from the Costco tins?" That's just a hollow from the set, correct?
Yeah, that's just a hollow from the
It's
set.
just a hollow from the set.
Yeah, probably you have 10 to 15. If you open 151, you actually have that. Now the reverse is a little more difficult to get. I mean, you don't hit it as often.
Right,
but
right.
The regular hollows, people discount the regular hollows, but if it's a popular character, you're gonna have some people who are gonna want the Gengar. They're gonna want it. I mean, the Cosmo hollows from the Costco bundles and the Sam's bundles, any type of promo, the Eevee promo. Now, I have to let you know, I did send 10 of those Eevees and did not get a single 10, but every one of the 9s that I got sold for $37.
So you made your money back.
So I still made my money.
Nice. I really like the set of the 4 Costco 10 promos. Yeah, they're nice. And they got the what do you call that? That Galaxy Hollow, which everyone
and
loves.
There's a Gengar in there.
Classic one, the Cosmos Hollow, sorry. I like the Cosmos Pika promo out of the Pokemon Day collection box. I do too. I actually have I had 4. I had 4. Correct. I did have 4. I ripped them all. But I do have the 4 promos. Like boxes like that, like I find myself like thinking to myself, is it worth keeping those little collection boxes? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it will be one day. Maybe somebody's going to want to buy them. But as of right now, I expect more of those to be coming out with all this stuff being printed for the 30th. At least that's what I expect. But I think you could go ahead and talk about what you think about PSA, CGC, and tag, and where we are, where it stands, what PSA has been doing that has clearly been impacting them negatively. And maybe where your stance is, like where do you want to grade now? What do you want to do and why?
So I still use PSA. Let me just say that. And the reason I use PSA is not because I like what's going on, but right now they're the most liquid slabs. And anybody who does not say that is being disingenuous. I mean, if you believe that PSA is not the most liquid slab, you are wrong. I mean, that's just it in a nutshell. And remember earlier what I said, I have to think like a businessman and not just like a collector. And so I use PSA. Now, what I do not send to PSA any longer are vintage product. I won't send any vintage to PSA because the last vintage order I sent, I'd sent two vintage order previously from my first edition, and I got 20 of 30 PSA 10s. Same quality of card I sent the next group of cards in, I got 0 10s. So that let me know that they were doing something different.
Oh, they are.
I don't think PSA cares about the hobby. And
Well,
people,
they care about their pockets. Is
yeah,
what they
and
care
that's
about. I
and
think that they realize pop reports matter at times. Right now the market is so hot that everybody's just buying everything. But at the same time, I think that they know that it does matter, and for that reason, they're trying to control it. I think that a lot of these companies do that. To be honest,
and
um,
I think PSA. Let's start there. PSA wouldn't. The one advantage that PSA has over every other grading company is that they do not charge the customer until the end. That way they can upcharge and what have you. So there's a lot of people who are sending 100 cards to PSA. Well, they don't have to pay money right up front. So they can wait till the process is over and then they have to pay at the end. That's an advantage. I mean, that when I send the CGC, I have to pay up front. If I send the BGS, I have to pay up front. When I used to send to SGC, I had to pay up front. That is a significant advantage. And so if I'm going to send to PSA, I will not send them personally. I will use grade to consignment so I don't have to have any money out of pocket. I believe it's wrong for them to buy cards and sell cards from the standpoint you're grading the cards, you're buying back the cards, and then you're grading them. It's just a conflict of interest. You could do some things that you and I couldn't do, Jay. I mean, we
yeah,
we we can't do some of the things, and that's where I question whether or not they're truly giving good grades. We know there was a scandal about them changing a card from a 9 to a 10. We know that, and that kind of died down. When something is big up front and then it died down, it usually means someone got paid to be quiet.
right. Which I think I've heard about some things, especially with the recent thing like the Deoxys. I don't know. Something has happened. Something weird happened where that was getting talked about a lot, and then I think the guy got paid off, and I think they agreed to no longer discuss it, which is pretty crazy because, of course, it's bringing them negative, negative
Right.
attention. So,
So if you're
I
if
don't,
you're gonna grade, I mean, if you're grading to make money, let me make sure that I'm saying that. If you are grading to make money right now, PSA is still your best bet. Like it or not, it is your best bet. Um, if you are in sports, I know we're talking TCG. If you're in sports, that's really the only thing you have. They control 97% of the market. The collectors universe controls 97% of the market. I use, and Jay knows this, I use CGC a lot. And the reason I use CGC is because I love their pristine slabs. I absolutely love them. And so I'm trying to get a binder full of pristines. And it's not easy, but this is probably my favorite slab, my pristine
Cynthia's Garchomp.
Cynthia Scarchuk. And before people say, well, I think the other one, I also have a PSA 10. And in my mind, you put those side by side, I would much prefer the pristine 10 over the PSA slab.
Right. It definitely looks better.
There's no comparison. So I want a slab. I want a slab binder full of pristines. And for anybody who think it is easy, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 7 pristines out of this binder full of 10s. Yes, you will get less money for a CGC 10. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will get less money. But what I feel is if I'm going to pay less money and it's going to get to me quicker, I will take a hit if I can move the cards quick. If I can move the card, I hear people saying that CGC is trash. They give away 10s.
But
I could say
why
the
do
same thing
people
about
confuse,
PSA.
why do people confuse that with what, like, I don't understand. People know that there's a difference between the pristine 10, which is kind of like their real 10, and that other 10, which is like this right here, which I actually love this card, and I want to get it regraded at some point because it looks freaking immaculate. This card right here,
that card.
this card looks perfect, and this is one that I don't want to sell. I just want to regrade it. If I can get this thing in a pristine, it would be amazing. I don't see anything wrong with this card, to be honest. Whatever they saw at the time, but I also do know that that they're pretty harsh, you know.
I want that card to go with this, Jay. I want that card to go with this.
I want that card. I want that card. I don't have it. I definitely want that one. I opened a ton of, so like it's like there's a lot of Crown Zenith stuff that I bought that I didn't intend to rip, and I wanted that card so much that I went through so many booster bundles that I had, and those things are like, I don't know, the booster bundles for Crown Zenith right now are insane.
Right.
Like they're like 100 and like, I don't know, maybe $200. I don't know. They're crazy, but I ripped like 10 of them trying to find that card, and I couldn't find it. I found like everything else but that thing.
I mean, it's a, you know, sometimes you get lucky. I actually pulled 4 of those cards. I pulled 4 of them.
That's nuts.
3 of them came back PSA 10s. They're in my collection. I'm holding on to them until I'm ready to move them. And I think this is the point related to PSA. You have to give them credit for building a market where they are the big dogs. I give them credit for that. What I hate, absolutely despise, is for people to justify upcharges. I hear people saying, "Oh well, I got upcharged." I cannot, because they say, "Well, the upcharge is for insurance." That is a lie. And the reason I can say it's a lie is because if you are at a show and you do at show grading, if it's for the insurance, you shouldn't be upcharged for picking it up in person.
Right.
You will still be upcharged, even if you don't have to ship it off anywhere.
Wait, so they have so when they grade at a show, they slab it right there?
Correct.
And they still upcharge you?
Yes, they will.
No.
Yep. They still upcharge. I had a friend, he said his got upcharged. He got upcharged $300 and he picked it up at the show where after they had graded it.
I didn't know that they would grade and slab it right there. Like,
yeah, they used to have same day service. I don't know whether they still do it, but at one time they would actually grade it and you would have the card back in hand before the end of the show.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
but it costs a lot. But it's one of those situations, it's a service. But if your card was more valuable, you will get upcharged, even though it doesn't go anywhere but there at that show.
Yeah, that's not right at all. Fuzzy Squirrel says, and nowadays you don't have to pay for 6 months. Because you gotta wait so damn long. He said, I also love the pristine CGC, best looking slab. I think it looks amazing. I can understand other people's opinions. The PSA slab looks so outdated. You know, it's like, you know, everybody upgrades everything else. You upgrade your phone, your computer, your car, your lifestyle, and then the freaking PSA slab stayed the same.
Yeah, I mean, but
it looks outdated. You know,
it's what everybody wants. I mean, it's what everybody wants. And I think that, CGC had, so when they first came back and they changed their slab, I was not a CGC fan with the blue. Um, I just didn't like that. And they went to the one they have now, and I can live with it. I mean, from the standpoint, there's a lot of cards that it reminds me of a CGC label, but I'm shooting for the pristine. I mean, really and truly, that's what I want in my collection. CGC is growing. I mean, they're definitely growing now. Whether or not that's going to impact the hobby, there are a lot of people just are tired of putting up with 6 months of waiting for their cards back. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I have a premium account with CGC, so I'm still paying only $15 per slab, and so I have 2 submissions with them right now. One is scheduled for grading, which is a 20-card order, and another one is 34 cards. And the beauty of CGC is all you have to do is go in, hit quick submit, put your number of cards in, and you're finished. You don't have to put the individual cards. Once you ship it to them, once they have received it, then they will put it in, give you a hyperlink so you can see all the cards. It saves me so much time. And, of course I have my pictures and everything for my records, but it just saves me so much time. And if they don't get their turnaround times down, it's going to negatively impact. People are going to say, well, if I'm going to wait for a bulk sub of 80 days, I might as well send it to PSA and just wait for whatever period of time that is.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I know we all understand those are the most liquid slabs, but I think the market kind of fails to understand that we're the reason that it's liquid. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
we can make any slab liquid, but the market just has to accept it and do it and run with it. I don't know, man. I don't know what it would take for the market to say, hey, PSA is taking advantage of us. Maybe, let's go somewhere else.
Most people in this hobby are scared, are afraid. They're low risk
Well, they
tolerance.
also don't want to lose value in what they
Yeah,
already
yeah.
have. That's
They're
another
low
thing.
risk tolerance, and so
That's
they're
another
not going
thing.
to do something that is different. From the standpoint, they're
Right.
not. They're just not going to do something different. They're going to wait until the market moves. But think about if you move the market. I mean, and we have enough power as collectors to move the market, but the people who control the dollars are putting money into PSA. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They only want PSA slabs. That's all you see on YouTube. Every time you see a reveal, they're talking about people. There's some major content creator. Ryan is major. PokeRef is major. Mimic Brew. There's a lot of people who are major that are PSA advocates, and they have a huge following in it. And as far as I hear Cool Trainer Ryan, when he does his PSA, he said, if you want to grade, I only grade with PSA. That's what he says. Well, there are
Right,
some
right,
people
right.
who follow him that are going to say, well, if Ryan grades with PSA, that's all I'm going to grade with. Well, if you send a card, and I think somebody actually asked earlier, do I just send random stuff? You have to be very particular about what you're sending to PSA, because you can lose money fast. If you don't get those tens, the way I view grading, this is my secret to not losing money. I always look at what this card will grade in a PSA 9. How much money I will get for PSA 9. And if my PSA 9 will at least get me my grading fees, I will take a chance on a card that is clean. Because even if I don't hit the 10, I still know I'm not going to lose money. A lot of times people don't think about the 9. They're only thinking about 10. Oh, I'm going to get a 10. I'm going to get a 10. I'm going to get a 10. Well, there's some cards that have a 10, 20, 30% pop. I mean, there's a good chance you're not going to get a 10.
Right. Well, let's see. Fino, what's going on, brother? Juan Corona says facts 100%. He says, "Yo, what's up with it? Just sent my Mega Charizard off to PSA today. Nice. I mean,
Nice.
that card's doing insane things. I think it's like over two
Did
thousand
he send it
dollars.
express?
I don't know. Fino, let us know. Did you send it express? Pokebox, what's up? Snack bread. I'll see you later, brother. Yeah, that card is insane. I mean, that's another thing too. Things have really changed when it comes to even grading. These modern cards, it doesn't matter. Like pop reports aren't mattering as much anymore. Um, no matter it could have came out yesterday and people are still willing to pay over $2,000 for a card, right? If we look at the value of that card right now, the Mega Charizard EX, which let's see, because I know it's over $2,000 in a PSA 10. Because I was looking at it the other day since it sold for $54,000 in a BGS 10. It's just over $2,000. It's a $2,000 slab. A card that just came out a few months ago with which in the past would have not sold for this much. At least it wouldn't have held this kind of value
Right.
over 6 months because it just came out. But this market is so hot right now. And like I said before, this is more of a seller's market than almost anything else because people are just buying everything up. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's one of those situations that people are forgetting about this market. The SV era brought a lot of new people into the market. I mean, a lot of new people, and every day you're getting more and more people coming into the Pokemon space. So to view a card that has like the 151 Zard has 27,000 pop. Well, with the number of people who want that card will continue to go up in value because you're going to have people who are going to want that for their collection. And once 151 truly goes off the radar, and the pop count does not change once there is a significant number of cards. For instance, that Black Label Moonbreon that we talked about earlier, 6 months ago, it had a pop count of 138. I checked today. It still has a pop count of 138. So once those cards, the Bubble Mew and all of these, if they get a 20% pop gem rate, they're going to have it forever. And the longer you go, the less gem copies that are going to be out there. And then once the price of packs, take Evolving Skies right now. How many times you've heard somebody just ripping 10 packs of Evolving Skies? It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Well, that's what's going to happen with 151. 151 is going to wind up being a $40 to $50 pack. So people are not going to rip it like they're ripping it right now. Prismatic, once it goes out of rotation, it's going to be a $30 to $40 pack. People are not going to rip it like they should, like they would. But the rip and ship business, you will not have as much sealed product in 5 years as you have right now. People will say, oh, there's a lot out there. But the rip and shippers are going through a whole bunch of
Even without the rip and shippers, the reality is that as time goes, people are opening it. I mean,
yes.
we're opening things every day. I just talked about how with these collection boxes, I don't have anymore. I ripped them. I had these Destin Rivals ETBs, which I don't understand why they're over $200. If whoever's buying them at $200 is nuts. But I ripped 4 of those. That's 4 of those off the market, right? It's every single day. What you just want to rip? People want to rip. Even though people like me want to so-called invest, I still want to rip. I'm still a collector at heart. It's the
Right.
reason why I'm in the hobby, So it's inevitable, whether people want to admit it or not. Somebody came in the comments today. It was so dumb. The guy said something about like continue gambling. Well, yes, it is our choice to take the risk on that gamble. this whole market can crash. You could have 100 cards getting graded, and from one second to the other, if something happens to the economy, those cards are going to come back. You're probably still going to have to pay PSA, and it's done. Now you just lost money because nobody's going to buy those slabs with some kind of economic downfall. It's just not happening. You know,
Well,
one
I
thing
think
Poke Painter did point out was that this card, so it said $2,000 where I looked it up on price charting, but it hasn't averaged out yet. In the last like 2
okay.
weeks, the Charizard, it started on the first sale seems to be just 3 days ago on the 27th, 2007. So for the last 3 days, the card is selling for somewhere the low end is $2,600 and the high end is 2007 so $2,850. So the card is taking off. That Charizard, insane.
People want it. I mean, I haven't pulled it. I mean, I want it. You know,
I mean,
and
I want it. I talk about it all the time. It's one of the best Charizard cards ever made, right?
yeah,
Who doesn't? Who would really say that they didn't like want this card right here?
yeah. That
This is
that
an
card
amazing
is
card.
fire.
I don't care what anybody says. It's an amazing card.
Yeah, that card is fire, and you know, having it in your collection is just one of those things that you know people. It's like the Sunbreon. You know, I've been fortunate to pull the Sunbreon, but there will never be the number of PSA 10s in Sunbreon as there are in PSA 10s for Moonbreon. That the quality control is so different. And you know, that's the thing. We talk PSA 10s. What we have to wind up getting is the language change that we talk about this card in a 10. Well, the standards, if you look at the standards, if you put PSA standards and CGC standards and tag standards together and look at them side by side, they almost are verbatim with little bitty differences. I mean, all of them have a 55-45 centering. All of them pretty much have the edges and everything else. But people are so committed to PSA. And the reason is that unlike myself, there are some people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars of cards in PSA slabs. They do not want those values to go down. So they're going to talk
That's what I'm
every
saying.
other
They
card.
don't want to lose the value in
Yeah,
what they have, regardless of how badly PSA is treating
that
people.
is
If you
correct.
think about somebody like Leonhardt, how much does he have in PSA slab? He'll never go up against PSA because then the value of his slabs will, of course, diminish. Same thing with who else? Like PokeRev, like you said, like Nostalgianomics, who loves to flip with them. Anybody who really is invested into that will never want that value to diminish. Um, I was surprised to see Deep Pocket Monster uh grading with tag. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I feel like tag is probably giving him a decent amount just so that he could put it out there because he made a sudden change of trying out tag, and ever since then it went from trying out tag to just using tag at all times. So it's a
Well, I
weird
think
it's a weird
what's their
thing.
name? They're up in Connecticut. It's Collectible Tag, or I can't. I watched some of them, and they have a deal with CGC, and they said on one of their videos that CGC let them know that they were not going to be able to get their weekly CGC order because the turnaround times are just so, you know, and that's what has to happen. I mean, people have to really commit to not only going to other companies, but then sticking to their prices. So the way when my cards come back from whichever company, I do mine with auctions. So whether it's a PSA, whether it's a CGC, whether it's a BGS, and I always start my auctions at the lowest price that I'm going to take. So that I'm gonna all. So if they get one bid on that card, I'm still getting the price that I wanted.
Right, right.
I don't think about nothing else. I just say, okay, what is the price that I feel this card should be? And I put it there. And I have never had a situation where that card did not go for more than that price. I don't
Right.
start anything at 99 cents. So I'm not going to lose money by starting a card at 99 cents and
Yeah,
not
either
getting.
that or it just doesn't sell and you
Yeah,
just put it up again.
yeah. You know, it because in Pokemon, it may not sell today, but if the cards run up, next thing you know, I've had cards that I didn't sell at all the first time. Then I put them up 2 weeks later, and it got to the 80% of whatever the PSA value was. I mean, you just have to have patience. But what most people don't have the ability to do, Jay, is to lock up money in dead money, which means that you're going to hold these slabs for X amount of time and not worry about it. Well, that's dead money. Vendors don't have time for that. That's collectors.
Right.
It's dead money. My PSA 10 Charizard for 151, I could have sold it a long time ago. But guess what? I didn't have a problem holding it because I pulled it. I only had $30 in that card. So I was always going to make more than $30 on it. So I held it, and it just keeps going up. It's at some point you have to have a mindset. Okay, I'm going to hold this card for 1 year, 2 years, and then whatever that it's at that time, I'm going to sell it. That's what you do with stocks. I mean, that's what you do with most
Yeah,
investments.
but people don't see people don't want to treat Pokemon like that. People really think that even though we've been in this bull market for over a year now, even if we include the correction just from point A in the beginning of 2025 to point B, which is now, people think that everything is just going to be, X 3X in a week or in a month. It just sounds nuts. I've seen various videos now where somebody's offering the last sale value for a slab, and the vendor is literally saying no. Then the person offers another 1,000. I forgot, it was a Gengar card. It was like valued at 8,000. The person offered 9,000, and the vendor still said no. He said, "No, I can't let it go for that much. It's going to be worth more." And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, you've got to have, first off, you don't have much up here. That's one.
Right.
Secondly, you've got to have some insane balls to tell somebody that you don't want to sell something at the value that it costs. At what point in time do you ever go somewhere and pay for something at a different value than what it is? There's usually a price point for everything that you go looking for. It doesn't matter if it's Pokemon cards, it doesn't matter if it's groceries, it doesn't matter what it is. You're not going to sit here and have somebody tell you, hey, that Gengar hat, I had it listed for 20 or sold for 20, but I'm going to sell it to you for $40. I'm going to look at you like you're crazy, and I'm
Right.
simply not going to buy it. And there has to be a lesson learned at some point where people can regret making that outrageous mistake. That is not okay. I don't understand. That is not okay. I don't understand. A lot of the time, I don't understand the mindset of most people in the hobby. I understand you don't want to have your PSA card lose value, but at the same time, at what point do you go to any kind of a business that doesn't treat you well and then you return?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't.
You have to, at some point, you have to look at it that way. I understand you may have money invested. You could sell off those cards anyways and still move on to the next product. Tag slabs still sell for typically what PSA 10 slabs sell for. So regardless of what you think, they're actually not going to diminish in value the way that you think. They're just going to diminish in popularity.
Right.
You'll still be able to sell them off. Tag slabs still sell off. CGC slabs that people dislike still sell off. Like, it changes nothing. But what does make a difference here is that you're giving these companies every single right to just use you and abuse you in every single way. And that's typically something that you don't allow when we just step outside our front door. You will never return to any kind of a business that doesn't treat you properly or fairly.
We have a different mindset of it,
I don't
and
understand it, man. I really don't. It's so it's like it drives me nuts. It
well,
really
it's
drives
one
me
of those
nuts.
situations that I saw. Um, I think it's 405 cards. He does vending, and I remember he was at a Dallas card show, and there was a Dallas Maverick that came up to his table, and he had lovebirds for 4K, and he bought it, but you could see in his face that, I mean, the guy counted out 4K, but you could see in his face that, man, I don't really want to sell this. But if you're attached to a card, this is what I said earlier. You have to think like a businessman and not like a collector. That vendor was thinking like a collector. He didn't want to let go of the card, even though he was being offered $1,000 over what this. I've heard people say this: you never go broke taking profit.
Yep.
Just take your profit. If it goes down, then you buy it back. But guess what? If it goes up, you like say, oh well, I got what I got. Somebody else is going to benefit from it. I don't. I don't have a problem selling stuff. That's why when I go to a show to cash out everything that I bring to the show, I cash out. I don't worry about it. I just cash out because that's some stuff that I wanted to move. I mean, the things that I don't want to move, I do not bring to shows to sell off.
See, that's another thing. If you're a vendor, why are you bringing it to the show if you're not willing to sell it? Why? Like, man, I could create, I'm just thinking about this, and it's not something that I'm actually going to do, but I could create like any kind of content creation account, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, and it could literally be about me going to vendors and pointing out things that they do that's idiotic,
Yeah.
whether it's trying to charge me too much money or an insane value, or not wanting to sell something that you brought to a show where you sell as a vendor. I
Yeah.
don't, and then that graded guard thing is
Ah,
another annoying thing.
that,
You are going, bro, that slab that I was talking about with the Gengar had a graded guard. And the guy started taking the graded guard off. And the guy's like, what are you doing?
yeah,
You're
I've
that
seen that
graded
so
guard
much.
costs
I'm
like
like,
I understand that in resale value they cost a little more money, maybe 40, $50, but it really costs like $10
yeah, yeah.
or
If
over
I
20
if
bucks,
I would
whatever it is. You're gonna ruin a $9,000 sale for a 20 piece of plastic, $20 piece of that's insane.
I would
Bro,
walk away.
if you were like, if I had a company and you did that and they had to go like on commission, whatever sale it was, even if you were selling cars for me, for example, you're fired, bro. You're gone, and I never want to see you again.
Yeah,
Like I don't understand. Like these it clearly tells you that a lot of people don't have a business mindset or at least an understanding of business. That does not make sense. You actually not only do you lose out on a sale, you ruin a relationship for the foreseeable future.
right,
These people are not going to come back.
right, right. I mean, it
And
it
you
it
are in the business of making money as a vendor. You paid to be there so that you could sell. And
it,
you were going to sell, you're going to lose a potential buyer in the long run for $20 of plastic.
it
That is
drives me
insane.
crazy every time I see that. I'm like, so that's like what that's like to me is going to a car dealership and you buy a car that actually have nice rims on it, and they're aftermarket rims, and then you buy it, and then you get the car,
And they
and the
take the
car.
rims off.
What happened to the what happened to the other rims?
That'd be wild. That's another wild situation. It just doesn't make sense, that's like it's like so hard to understand the brain sometimes, the psychology of how like what like people that go there don't understand. Real quick though, I don't want to miss out on this question. I want to read some of the comments and a specific question that I think is a very, very good question. Just because I have an opinion on it. Pokepinner said his daughter pulled the Ents Zerark SIR from Ascended Heroes, which I actually like. Uh, Card looks great in hand. He said that's a card. I know Zerark isn't popular today like that much, but it is growing in popularity every single day. It's in the TV show. It's very, very popular in the actual TCG. I don't know if the Ascended Heroes Zoroark is playable, but the other Zoroarks in the past are playable, and so that card is going to be nostalgic to somebody at some point in the future, and it's a really cool card, and is also one of the most popular trainers. I just think it's cool. Fuzzy Squirrel says it may be stupid, but I often just leave things up at the price I want until the price catches up, or I take them down for a bit and repost them. That's all you got to do. You don't have to sell for a loss. You
Yeah,
don't. At no point are you forced to sell for a loss. It's just like saying no. It's like when somebody offers you something or asks you something, you could easily say no at any point. You don't have to sell. This is the question. Oscar, what's going on, bro? He says, "What's up, lads?" He says, "At what point?" Pokepinner says, "At what point do we stop being in a bull market? And this is just what the market has matured to, and
wow.
it's new normal. I feel like good sets just won't sit on shelves at MSRP." So I'm going to go first with this real quick.
Okay.
So the reason why we are in a bull market, at least I believe, and that we won't always be in a bull market is because it's unsustainable. The way that these products have appreciated in value just simply isn't realistic. If this was the case and this was the new norm, right? I promise you, first off, myself and all you guys would probably have an incredibly even harder now, a harder time than now to acquire product because all of those we call them these Wall Street guys, the Wall Street investors. Forget about Wall Street. We're talking about people within the whole country. Governors that we hear about governors making these plays ahead of time, knowing what's going to happen with insider information. Guys, those people will literally buy it all. You would not have an opportunity. This literally cannot continue to exist this way and outperform every single other thing. That's why I don't see it as a realistic thing. I promise you guys, we will not get product. I promise you right now, not a single one of us will get product. Every single person out there that has any kind of substantial money, whether it be a celebrity, a professional ball player of any kind in any sport, a like I said before, a governor, an actor, it does they will buy it all. They would buy it all because it's an investment and they already invest. And they're gonna go ahead and just buy the top tier investment there is. And if it's Pokemon, if it happened to have been that, which is why I don't see it to be realistic, they would literally buy it all. None of us would get it. Not me, not Nostalgianomics, not Poke Plumber, not freaking Poke Rev, nobody. They would buy it all because
I agree with you.
they're gonna offer up that much more money.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This is the thing. If I say to you, this card is the top investment right now, and it costs $300, and you had the 300, right? I promise you, a LeBron James will say, "Guy, I will give you 600 for that card." And what do you think the seller's going to say? No, I'm going to lose out on $300 profit. No, it's not happening. And they'd rather develop a relationship with that buyer that has that much more money. That's just the way that business tends to work. They're always going to go to where the money goes. They're always going to follow the money. And for that reason, I don't think that it is sustainable or realistic at this point for us to just think that we're just going to go on this insane bull market and it just be the new norm. That's just what I think. I could be wrong. It's not impossible. Anything can happen.
Let me look at it like this here. If let's say someone wanted to come in, I'm gonna use the Moon Beyond Black Label for instance. You have $10 million. You could literally go in and buy all the available. Yeah. You could buy them in and control the market and put that in a fund. And I believe this is coming sooner than later, that some of these big cards are going to be gobbled up by these celebrities and gobbled up by these investment bankers. And you're going to have a Poke fund. And that Poke fund, you're going to be able to buy shares into it and you'll be able to get money because the S&P 500, Pokemon is doing better right now than the S&P 500. But the better products are going to be gobbled up. And this is what most people don't understand is some of these new celebrities that are in their 30s and 40s, they have children that are now getting into Pokemon. You have athletes that are getting into Pokemon. They have the resources to come and buy up all of the good stuff. And what you said is accurate, Jay, that when you start wanting to buy something, it will not be available. I mean, it will not be available. It will be totally out of your reach.
It will not. If you think about this, the market is the way it is right now because people are willing to pay these insane prices. Now, when you have people with real money come in and they're willing to pay even more money that's way out of your reach, you're not getting none of it.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. I don't believe that it's going to be that simple or that easy to be able to get all this stuff that, or at least have it continue just taking off like this. Listen, I don't know how long this bull run's going to last. No one knows. Everybody's assuming sometime after the 30th anniversary.
But is it a bull market?
On who's here to stay.
Is it a bull market or is it just the new normal? I think people don't want to accept the fact that this could actually be the new normal for good sets. It's going to be
Yes,
tested
actually,
with
that's one thing that I was just gonna point out Painter did say. He said, "I don't see good sets sitting on shelves at MSRP, maybe perfect order." But, it's just if we're being honest with ourselves, like I said before, like, at some point, we're seeing more and more celebrities come in. I saw Usher buying Pokemon cards. I saw
really.
Usher. I saw Kim Kardashian looking for
I
Pokemon
saw that
cards.
one.
Um, the more and more of these people come, just think about that, like, they're gonna be able to afford so much more than you. And at some point, why is any store out there, if it were to continue, why would they make it affordable for you?
Yeah.
That's just the way I see it. But like I said, it all depends. I do believe that we're gonna have trouble getting ourselves into a bear market. Why? Because I feel like one of the real reasons that people do not acknowledge that we are in this bear market is not just, I mean, in this bull market, is not simply because of demand. The issue here that we find ourselves in is always with supply and demand, right? And the reason why, one of the main reason why we're having such an issue with supply is because of all the resellers that have nowhere else to go.
Right.
The people who used to resell sneakers, the sneaker scene, that hobby is done. They're having issues reselling. Sneakers are not reselling for nowhere close to as much as anymore. Like, a pair of sneakers that just releases like today will cost you $180, and they're reselling for like 230 and 240. They're not making, the margin is not big enough for them. They're Unless they find a way to go somewhere else that's more profitable than Pokemon, which they're all in right now. You're never gonna find a situation where supply does not seem low. The people that are reselling are the ones that are impacting the market, believe it or not, in my opinion, more than anyone else. Investors, it's a very small percentage of people that invest. Rip and shippers, sure, they buy up product, but the ones that are standing in line reselling in their Bape hoodies and all this niche clothing that's retails for so much money. Those guys, the resellers, that and they're in abundance. And I promise you, there's guys that started off with businesses in COVID with standing. They were simply standing in line for people. People were paying people to stand in line for them to buy sneakers, and that was a legit business with a W-2, legit.
Really.
Yes, 100%. Those people, like even in New York, for example, there are so many people that would resell sneakers here. It's insane. They would resell sneakers, they would resell kid robot clothing because they're limited. Same thing with Babe clothing and all these other kind of like niche items, right? They're selling Pokemon now.
Wow.
So those people you see lining up that are rushing to these stores that know nothing about Pokemon. Like, I've been in a situation where I was buying Prismatic at Target, and somebody literally said to me, he went like this, Is this good?" And I'm like, well, yeah, this is why we're all here. So yeah, it's good. These guys they're just gonna resell it.
Right.
And they're here. They're more prevalent than people really are aware of. The people that are selling these websites that don't have this, all these websites that pop up don't have distro. How do
Right.
you think they're getting product? Why do you think they have product once a month? Because they can't get none, but when they do, they buy it all up and they resell it to you. And then you can no longer walk into any store, buy what you want, so that you can just simply pull what you want to pull.
I think the greatest danger for the Pokemon space is bots.
Well,
Uh,
they're the reseller. They're using them to resell.
it
And
is
the bots really are. Oh man. But
that
think about it. Resellers are doing this. Why? Because they have money. They're investing money into that bot
right,
so that
right,
they can resell and make that money back.
right.
And they're being successful. Look at this guy Redbeard that everybody hates that is purposely trying to gain negative attention. He There was a drop on Walmart for the Ascended Heroes ETBs, and he was live using his bots, and I think he bought like 200 and something ETBs himself, right? But he also has like I don't know how many people in his Discord that also use bots. And then we're not even talking like it goes far beyond that. His Discord server isn't the only Discord server that has bots or people buying things with bots. Um, it's that bot thing is so prevalent right now. And it, it's it does cost money to run a bot. but they're making so much money, it's paying for itself like tenfold and even more. These people are making so much money. If you can sit here and buy ETBs at $50, let's say, just using his number, right? He had like, I think it was like 265 ETBs. 265 times 50 is his cost. Now, almost triple that. And
Yeah.
then you deduct his cost and you have your profit, which is insane. He lost nowhere close. He was nowhere close to losing money. He's so far above his margin. It's insane. And they're just going to keep doing it. And people, for the most part, don't even know the difference between a legit website that has distro and one that doesn't. So then the ones, when you support these fake websites that are buying everything and reselling it, you don't realize that you're also, and collectors don't want to admit this, and I'm half collector, half investor. Like I say, collectors don't want to admit that they're also part of the problem because you're buying from the resellers. Everyone, we're all buying from resellers. We're all, as a whole, as a group, we're part of the problem. Unless you're only buying from Walmart or Target. If you're one of those, then you're not. But if you're buying from anywhere else, almost anywhere else, you're part of the problem too, because you're feeding them the money they need to keep it going.
Well, the great thing is I can say I only buy from two places. I either buy, well, Walmart,
Yeah, and
General,
Dollar General.
and then I have a couple of else for it. They have markup, they don't have distro, and I know they get some of the product. But I just do that to keep a relationship. I don't go in there and buy $400, $500, $600. It's just a relationship building. One of them do some slabs for me when I need to send something to PSA and get it back, they'll do it. But I think the thing that people also don't realize is there's another group of people who have moved into the Pokemon space that are getting slaughtered, and that's those who are in the sports sector for basketball and baseball and football, because Fanatics has taken over in that particular sector, and the ROI on stuff is just, I mean, and so they're used to paying $2,000 for a box of cards. So for them to come in and buy a case of Destined Rivals or a case of Ascended Hero ETB, it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing to them.
They just follow the money. This is what I'm saying. At some point, you find yourself in a position where you notice you're out of your league. They're out of your league. It just is. I can't dish out $2,000 right now. I would have to, usually when I want to make a play like that, I have to save. And then I'll make that purchase. And hopefully the market hasn't taken off by the time I did make that purchase. There are some people where spending 10K is nothing. Like I said before, like look at the Umbreon that sold for 33. Look at
Yeah,
the Mega Charizard that sold for 54K. Like, this is the reality. Um, but once again, I don't know. I don't think that it's sustainable, but I do see the issues in the market. I do see that we have a much bigger problem than people think. Just thinking about how the resellers impact with bots and without bots, because they will get online. But how do you get them out of the hobby? That's the biggest problem. How do you get the specific group of people that are actually making it hard for you to obtain this product out of the hobby? And it's not investors and it's not collectors.
right.
How do you get them? And I don't think anybody has an answer for that. I don't have an answer. I can't make the sneaker scene profitable again. But even so, it's not going to be worth it. Why? Because Pokemon cards are cheaper than sneakers and are being valued way above what the sneakers are selling for.
See, get back when you start thinking about the grading play. Let me throw this in. The base set and Paldea Evolve and 151 and the products that are going offline in next month. I think that people are underestimating some of those illustration rares. I've started, this is one of the plays I'm making around here. Um, I've started buying illustration rares from those sets that are clean, because the gem rates are so bad on those early
Oh
sets.
yeah, I made a video about those before.
Yeah, if it's bad for Magikarp, I mean, I think the T-Tar is,
Magikarp is like 18% though. Like
yeah,
16, 18%. It's actually not nowhere close to as bad as base set.
yeah, base sets. But if you think about it, like Amarouge, I'm getting ready to crack a CGC 9.5 that came back.
I think that one's at 9%, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it's $1,000 card if you can get a 10. You
It's at
know,
$1,000 now?
last time I checked, I don't know where it's at now. It could be less than that, but
No way.
maybe it was way up there, but I hadn't checked it for like 6 months or something like that.
I just want to see. I just want to see because I have not, I did the homework, I did the math. Like the numbers that I gave out in that video was me doing the math myself, and I had to sit down and get the pop reports and do all that stuff. And I know I got 9% for that card. So
Where's that?
right now I see there have been sales in the 400s.
Okay. So it's come
But
down.
it's still more than what it was. In the times in 2025, it was in the 300 range. We're now up to 400. There were some sales in the 460 range, 455, 450, 440. Last sale on the 26th was 439.
And that's a 9% pop rate, right?
Yeah, and the card costs about $10.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand is that the plays to make money are not always those big dollar cards. The plays are those small finds that you have. I just got a CGC 10 back for Dondozo, not Dondozo. Is that the whale from base set?
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah, it's a low pop card as well.
Yep.
It may be a couple of $100, but I'm gonna probably think about cracking that. You have to be strategic in what you're doing, but a lot of people want the big cards. Well, what I've been doing is buying the small cards, sell those cards off, and buy the card.
That's why I made that's exactly why I made the video. And in the video, I said, you're looking for low gem rate, look no further. It's base set. Paldea Evolved comes nowhere close. But I will tell you that there are people out there that are simply going to pump what they have.
Yeah.
I say it all the time because I'm just honest, and it is what it is. People can take it how they want. I don't have a drama so-called channel. And I will never engage in that stuff. And if anybody even comes in my direction with it, I'm going to ignore it. But I will say this: I watch Alex. I think he's a smart guy. He's a smart, business-minded guy. He will do whatever he's got to do to make himself make money. Now, with that being said, he talks about the Paldea Evolved gem rates all the time. It's because he's loaded on Paldea Evolved. He's said it a million times. He has said it so many times. So he's been blue in the face. He not only told you to buy it, he told you that he owns a lot of it. So he will point out that Magikarp has a low gem rate. The Tyranitar has a decently low gem rate. Guys, base set is where, if you're looking for gem rate, you have 9% gem rates. You have 11% gem rates. You have 13% gem rates, 14, 15. And we're talking about things like the Armarouge, the Dondozo, the Slowpoke, the what's the other one? Man, the Ralts, just illustration rares that have really, really low gem rates. I pulled the Riolu. Not the Riolu, I did pull the Riolu actually, but I pulled the
There's also the Slowpoke. The Slowpoke
I said the Slowpoke. Oh, right, the Slowpoke. I didn't mention that one. I mentioned the Drowsy. That one is also a low gem rate. I think that one was the one that was like 11%. All these cards, like I've pulled all of these, and none of them are anywhere close to being a 10. Now, and all of them cost about 9, aside from the Drowsy, because it had that pump. They each cost 9, somewhere from like $9 to $15 for each one. And then each one of those cards are all worth like 300 or more.
Right. Well, this is a card that I'm
yeah, Pokebunks and the Tarantula is at 3%.
Oh,
we spoke about that one. We spoke about it on our own in our private conversations that we have. Like I said, we talk about grading all the time. This one, from what Rev was telling me, for some reason, it often comes with print lines.
Yeah,
like those issues.
Go on TCG Player, and the picture that they actually use
has a print line. It has a print line. Yeah.
That's
we saw that.
How bad it is.
We saw that.
That's how bad it is. I mean,
we did see that. But these cards, and there's a lot of people just to show some cards, right? Like looking at a ton of these cards, like for me, like I have cards that I just love, right? That are for my personal collection. And for that reason alone, what I will say right now is that I'm not going to grade them. I'm not in a rush to grade these cards
Right.
because I'm not going to sell them. There's no need for me to do that, right? But like this card,
Yeah.
I would sell this one actually. Wrong stash. This card I have two of,
Okay.
one of which seems to be
I
to
don't
me.
have one of those, so I need to get one.
I mean, bro, it's I bought these cards because I like them well before they blew up. And now they're getting really expensive. Like this one, I believe can get a 10. And I love the card. But I would like to keep it, you know. So I have my stash of cards that like I often just set aside that I would like to have one of, whether like this Greninja, the Gold Star, I would like to have one for myself, but it's really this is one that I might great, and it actually looks immaculate. Like it really
I
looks like it
sent
could be a 10.
5 of them and have not gotten a 10 yet.
Well, this one looks really good, right? And if it does get a 10, even though I want to keep it because it is the only gold star version of itself, I might move it because it's just so valuable. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
it'll like I said, it'll help fund my hobby. Now, this card is not that expensive in a 10. I would keep it.
yeah.
Beautiful card, right?
So
But then I look through cards and I have a ton of cards. Another card that I have to think about whether I'd sell or keep. And
yeah,
this one, it like this card looks so good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would consider sending this card to BGS.
yeah,
That's how good this copy looks, right? But so aside from that, though, I then have this stack of cards, right? That I think are tens that I have no desire to keep. I don't need to be attached to any
right.
of these cards, including this damn mouse hold that I don't even know why it's expensive. Because nobody even that's not a popular Pokemon, you know, like and this Mew is another card that was inexpensive up until now. Now that Crown Zenith is taken off, now that it's taken off, it's expensive. This card was incredibly cheap. If you did not stop yourself at some point and say, hey, that's a really nice card, a really popular Pokemon. What's the potential? This is what you got to do. What's the potential on this card? It's a sleep. Most of the time, sleeping cards do well. Sleeping Pokemon, if you had a sleeping Pikachu, the sleeping Raichu and Paldea evolved, the sleeping Tyranitar and Chilling Rain, not Chilling Rain, and Battle Styles, these cards usually do really well. Now that Crown Zenith is getting some attention, this card is incredibly expensive in comparison to what it was before. And because I saw potential in the card, I have several copies. The same exact thing with the Gengar. The Gengar from sorry, not the Gengar, the Ghastly from Temporal Forces,
Temper forces.
right? And even this one, the Skarmory. The Skarmory is one of the it's a pretty cool card from Surgeon Sparks. Really
Never
cheap.
got that in the 10. I've
Yeah,
said
that one also looks immaculate, right? This is why I have it in this specific pile. But there are cards here that I don't absolutely love. You see, I have a few of these. I have a few of these Mews because I just had a feeling that the potential of the card was going to be at a point where it would be valuable at some point in the future. But then, right, even right now, right, like I am going to make a video of some cards that I see that have potential that people are not exactly like paying attention to, and sometimes that's what it takes. You don't have to buy what everybody else is buying. You could buy something right now, and I don't know how far down the line it could be worth much more than what you think it is. For
let me
example,
show you a sleeper card.
this is
Oh, I
my
got yeah.
sleeper.
That's a really good
This
card.
is my sleeper right here. No one
Wow.
can tell me this is not an amazing looking card,
Great
and
art.
it costs like $10 to for you to tell me that one of the most popular legendary Pokemon ever, if you think that this card, maybe 5 years down the line, all you gotta do is put it away. It's a $10
Right.
card. If you don't think that it's gonna do well, I would have to disagree with you. Me personally, my opinion, it's my risk, right?
Yeah.
I have several copies of this card, and you can find them for very cheap on eBay. And you can look at all the pictures you need to look at to compare the edges. This card, even for me holding it here, you can tell it looks really well centered. I don't know. What's your play? I think I kind of saw it already.
All right. This is a play that no one's talking about, and it has to do with battle deck
Right.
card. This is the
People were hyped about it at first, and then they forgot about it, and then they started focusing on the Marnie's Morpeko, and then just forgot about this one.
Yeah. And the thing about battle decks is that they don't reprint them. I mean, you basically get one print run of the battle decks.
Right.
Then once the battle decks are gone, well, that's the only way you can get these cards. So I got two that I'm going to send in. The Marnie Marpeco at one time was $300. I think it's like at 175 now or somewhere in that
So
range.
the hype went away, you
Yeah.
know? No
But
focus on it.
these are the type of cards. These are the type of plays. So when the battle decks came out, I just started buying them up. I have 4 battle decks of the Hunter. I have more Monty Marpeco. I have more of these. That's how I get ahead in grading. You know, I'm pretty much looking for cards that could pop off when the hype. I already have them in hand, easy to sell, easy to move. Because when a card gets hot, I'm waiting for the Marnie Marpeco to get hot again because I have a copy I'm going to sell. I didn't get it back in time to take when it ran up before.
Right.
And that's sometimes you just have to hold, but most people can't have dead money, as I say.
I think it like itches their hands.
It's just like my seal collection. I mean, my seal collection, I have it in storage. It's not in my house. Otherwise, I'd rip. Other than the 10 I ripped today that I pulled the Cerealich from out of Prismatic. And so that's one that I may
I have ripped so much Prismatic. I have a Jolteon. So you know what's funny? So I do have 2 Prismatic SIRs that I want to grade that look amazing. I've misplaced one. I have so many boxes of cards and stuff that I don't know where I put the Sylveon. Really well centered Sylveon. I've showed it before on stream. And I also have the Jolteon. I pulled them both actually on Alex's stream.
Really?
I bought 30 packs on his stream. And in that 30, I got the Jolteon and the Sylveon.
Wow.
And I bought 30 there, and I got both them there. And I have opened with my fiance. We have now opened close to 200 packs, and we haven't pulled one SIR.
Wow. So this is another play, but it's a more of a vintage play because Meowth in perfect order. I have first edition Meowths.
Oh, that's a nice card.
Yeah.
The other Meowth is a really nice card too. The promo, the hollow promo.
The hollow promo. I'm not familiar with that one.
I'll find it. But it's a really nice card. Pokémon says first card I bought my daughter at a show was the Bulma Mew for $80 before I blew up. Loved it. Yeah. You see, like even at that point, like you could have thought to yourself, what do I see this card doing? You know, but the market wasn't the way it is. A lot of people didn't believe in the cards, or you know, and I don't blame anyone. This is one thing too, right? Some people, and this is the card that I was talking about right here. Where is it?
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen that one. Okay.
I've heard people say, "Oh, you could have bought that in, 2022 or 2023." Bro, no, people did not take Pokemon investing seriously, mostly up until the recent years. It was. There weren't so many believers in Pokemon investing. It is now. We're literally at the prime of Pokemon investing right now. This is where the trust and belief in Pokemon investing is at an all-time high. Just like every other investment out there. Every other investment has a risk. They all have an inherent risk, whether you believe it or not. People tend to believe more in stocks because maybe they're on a computer screen or maybe they're part of this big business. But in reality, it all comes down to belief. If you do not believe in a stock, you're not going to invest in it. Same thing as Bitcoin. Bitcoin took people believing in it. It was a digital asset. It was a digital currency that no one thought was legit. This thing was selling for cents at some point. And look at it now. And one thing to point out too is thinking about the longevity of this bull run or where we are or where it may be. If we think this is the new norm, How many of you guys are buying Bitcoin at full price right now? Who could afford that? Not me, right? But there are people out there that can, and if this Pokemon market were to outperform every single investment, they will easily liquidate that Bitcoin and put it right into Pokemon, and it's over. You're not going to see anything. You're going to look at Evolving Skies booster boxes at like $20,000 overnight if they decided to do that. Like it's just a reality. That's why I don't see it to be, sustainable in any
That's
sense.
why
But
sealed is so strong. If you're able, like you saw my thing, I've over the years put 27K into my Pokemon. It's a 137. The majority of it, a lot of it is in sealed products. And the great thing about sealed is every day there's less and less sealed products every day. There could potentially be more Mega Charizards, of course, because that product is still being ripped. But the price is so many people want the card. That's why I say when I grade, I focus on popular Pokemon
right.
because yeah, there are the cute Pokemon that girlfriends and wives like. But popular Pokemon, they do well. I mean, they do very well in the grading market because there are people that just want that particular character.
Yeah, some people just I don't know why they like when we talk about like popular Pokemon, there are people that don't want to even believe that certain Pokemon are popular, right? Like people think about Pikachu, Gengar, Charizard, Umbreon, Eevee, and they kind of stop right there. They don't talk about Lucario. They don't talk about Gardevoir. They don't talk about Greninja. Just so many popular Pokemon out there that you could have your eyes on that don't have to be those first five that will still perform well if you bought those cards. Now we're seeing that there's cards that are on the rise that are other popular Pokemon that you could have invested into in some kind of way, whether they're legendary Pokemon or whatever. Look at Rayquaza. Rayquaza, for some reason, when you look at polls, if you were to Google it, it doesn't find itself in the top 5, but people will spend a lot of money on Rayquaza. Same thing as Latias and Latios. Like it's something that you should sometimes branch out of just what you're thinking about and look into other things, and maybe you'll find just other available plays. Just like I said with this Latias card, like why would you not see that that's a possible play in the future? It is really inexpensive right now. Of course, Crown Zenith cards are taking off, but um, they're probably going to age really, really well. And we're not thinking about how much time Crown Zenith has been out, which has been just only a few years. What's it going to be 5 years from now? Look at all the other cards that we've had in the past, right? That aged so well that probably were in Sun and Moon, whether they were promos or just regular cards, that people didn't anticipate them being this valuable. Even the cards from Legendary Collection from the last anniversary set aged incredibly well that people did not expect and were really inexpensive. Look where we are. I mean, look at the reverse Gengar from 151.
Yeah. I think the question becomes when we thinking about grading in 3 to 5 years, where will grading be? I mean, in 2 years, 2 to 3 years, I still believe PSA will still be a dominant force.
There
I
was a
personally
comment
believe,
actually before there was a comment that I forgot. Somebody
okay,
said, where is it? Where is it? I believe PSA will become a monopoly in 2 years and they will end up buying out CGC just like they did Becca and the others.
I don't believe that's going to happen. Because what people forget is that BGS was a struggling company. BGS was a struggling company, whether people want to accept that or not. They were looking for a buyer. SGC was struggling. They basically was a sports market, and they didn't really have a foothold in the TCG. They tried, but so really, what Collector Universe did, they bought SGC so they could get more graders, and basically SGC is probably going to go away. BGS, I believe you're going to see some major changes with BGS where upcharging for black labels and stuff like that is going to happen. But I don't believe you will just have PSA as because then you
You think
will
they're gonna
truly.
upcharge for a black label?
I think it's coming.
Because PSA owns them now. That
Yeah,
would be insane,
collective
man.
first
Think about the
owner.
upcharge on a $54,000 Mega Charizard. Yo. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, so
Oh
from the
my
standpoint,
God.
CGC has been a dominant force for so long. They got comic books, they got coins, they got cards. Of course, we know that they have made great inroads into this space. They are the only true competitor, whether or not people like it or not. CGC is the only true competitor to PSA. If and there's no question, they are the most competitive. They do about 450,000 cards every month. Not another grading company does 100,000 a month, and so they are definitely in the TCG market. It would not surprise me within the next year and a half to two that it is a 60-40 split PSA and CGC.
I think that I could see that definitely happening. I definitely see that there are people who are clearly losing trust in PSA that are going to look for another option. And the next clear option is CGC. I mean, I know tag looks cool. I know that it's becoming more and more popular every day. There's people just promoting it so much, and I get that. But if you're really just ignoring the noise, which is people just putting it in your face all the time, and just rubbing it in your face so that you could just have tag in your mind. If you look at the sustainability of the businesses and how much people have trust in it with just looking at the numbers, you see that that's not the case.
So I think this week, for instance, I think on last Monday, Tag did about 1,000 slabs on Monday, about 1,100 on Tuesday, about 2,000 on Wednesday, about 700 on Thursday, about 900. They're going to average probably. I think the numbers have Jim Ray posted the week numbers because that usually comes out on Monday. They usually post their gym numbers for the week, the previous week on a Monday.
Did they post it?
I don't know. I haven't looked to see whether or not they had a post about the gym, the rates for this week or what last week. They usually do it on Monday. It usually comes out on Monday.
They usually have it on their story. I don't see it. It's not. I
Okay.
don't see it here.
Okay. Well, when you start thinking about it, I would say Tag is probably going to have 8,000 to 9,000 cards graded last week. That's what I figure. CGC is probably going to have probably, I would say 100,000 somewhere there going to be graded. It's not even it's not even a fair comparison to even put Tag and CGC in the same conversation. I mean, it's really doing a disservice to a company that has been around in the space. And to hear people talk about CGC being trash, the two best slabs on the market are Tag and CGC when you look at them for clarity, how clear they are, and everything. But I much more trust the CGC slab over a Tag slab when it comes down to stability. I mean,
Oh, I have CGC slabs. Like for example, like this one. This thing feels sturdy.
yeah,
And it feels much sturdier than a PSA slab does. I
right.
don't know. It just feels like it can take a hit. I don't know.
So you saw my post I made today about
Yeah, I
cracking.
did. I did see that post actually.
I was
I did.
like, I could not believe I could do that with a bottle opener. I was shocked that I could do
I
that with
mean,
a bottle.
I've seen that happen often actually. I actually saw someone at a vending table do that. Like they were at their table and they were cracking slabs, and I guess they were gonna resubmit, but they cracked them. They broke the slabs so that they can't get used again, so they can't like I guess scam people. This was his post right here. He broke out a Zapdos from 151 a 9. But look at how seamless, look at how beautiful this cracked out. Like if he wanted to, he could put a horribly conditioned, I guess, card in here. If it was a 10, it'd make more sense. It sounds crazy because it's a 9. But if this was a 10, he could just open it, swap the card, and then submit it again, get another 10, sell that first 10, like, and he did it with a bottle opener. The first one, like he said, this one, the Giovanni's Charisma cracked, but the second one here broke clean. It broke clean, and I'm actually seeing that more and more often. Like I'm seeing more posts about people just using a bottle opener, just popping the corners, and then just lifting it nicely along the edges, and the whole thing just comes apart in one piece, and you just pop it back together. Like it actually pops back together. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with PSA. You weren't able to do that before. Before you would see people like using construction tools, which people don't know what they are, but people call them nippers, like because of the brand name. And they use this construction tool that looks like it has like a big nail clipper. That's a construction tool. Like iron workers use it. And that's typically what they would use to break the slabs open. Now you're able to use a bottle opener, which is wild. Did we lose Rev? I think we lost Rev, guys. And it's fine. We lost Rev. I think I messed up with the stream. I usually have like 20 viewers here. Um, and I'm pretty sure I messed up with the stream. I can't even look at the comments the way that I did before. I almost want to restart the stream so that I could do what I wanted to do and like the comments can show, but I don't know if you guys are going to be patient enough to let me just end it and restart it. It won't take long whatsoever. Um, it's up to you guys if you guys want me to do that because I can't highlight the comments. I do think that I did something to my stream though because most of the people that come in here aren't here. I don't know what's affecting it. Buy Bitcoin this October. Let's see what happens. Bitcoin bottoms every primary year in October for its entire history. That's nice to know. Pokemon is the same as sports, just by the ghosts. It's true. It's true. I don't know why people shy away from it. I don't know why people want to, you know, why do you want to grade Shadow Rider? I mean, nobody likes Shadow Rider. I mean, it's just what it is. Got I caught y'all. I have started to do it several times, but I'm putting it together. My first CGC sub as we speak. Thanks for the information for science. Yeah, no problem, bro. This was really for all of us to learn. I am not an expert in grading, but I want to get into the grading space, and I want to be able to flip. I want to be able to do something where if it takes CGC a month and a half to get cards back to me, every month and a half, I have a batch of cards that keep coming back, and I can flip as I'm submitting every month and a half. I can keep flipping. I can send cards as much as I need or want, and in a month and a half, I can continue to get cards back and then sell them off and continue to fund whether it's grading or sealed positions, which is a great way to fund your hobby. Like I said before, go for it. For sure, we chilling. All right, let me see. Because it's not letting me highlight the comments like I normally do. Be right back.